October 17th, 2017. Eric, can you do the roll call?
Commissioner Pye?
Here.
Commissioner Brown?
Here.
Commissioner Hartman?
Here.
Commissioner Rivers? President McGarrett?
Here. Okay.
You all please stand and join with me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Maybe sit down.
Okay, our first order is approval of the minutes. I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of the Personnel and Finance Subcommittee and the meeting of the Board of Commissioners of the Zion Park District dated 18 September 2019.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. All right, guests, we have guests. Kat, welcome. Tracy, we have Mr. Tracy Johnson that wanted to address the board.
Okay. You ladies can go first. Go right ahead.
She's just here to observe.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
All right. My name is Tracy Johnson, for those who don't know me. I grew up here in Zion, graduated back in 1982, moved to D.C. for 25 years, been back here the last 14 years. Been working in education the last 14 years. Been in the elementary school district the last 3 years, and the last 2 years mostly at the high school. I come before you this evening because I wanted to approach all taxing bodies. I know most of us that live in the area got their blue letter in the mail about 2 weeks ago, and no one likes those blue letters when they come. That means the assessments normally go up. But everyone understood what happened here at the school district, particularly the elementary school district, when we started the new year, where they had 50 teachers leave the district. And they did have their own wrinkles over at the high school. What I'm asking each taxing body to consider, because there is a shortage of at least 1,700 teachers statewide, in order for the school district to move forward, and I've approached them already, I was at the township city council meeting the other night, for the new teachers they would like to bring into the district from the universities around the country, to dangle as a carrot, because our salary starting here is only $42, which is $5,000 below Waukegan, North Chicago, and depending if you're special ed, you make even more money. And where Chicago's at now, their starting salary is going to be at $63. And seeing that we're at the lower end of the poll, I just ask that each taxing body consider a 4-year program, like when I purchased my home in Washington, D.C. in '92. All D.C. government workers, if you wanted to buy a house in the district, you did not pay property taxes for your first 4 years. That gave you an opportunity to be invested in a community, like we want these teachers to be invested in our kids. And $42,000 a year, just to be honest, that isn't a lot of money if you want to be a first-time home buyer. But the beautiful thing about Zion, this is a starter home community. I can say when I left this area in '82, Gurney and Wadsworth was not built up to where it is today, where they have the $500,000, $1 million homes. You represent 16%. I know the township represents 2%, city is 15%, high school and school districts represent 70%. But that was just what we were going over the other night, breaking down the percentages. But overall, just bringing it around to everyone, just something to consider for incoming employees, not current employees, but for them to dangle that carrot to try to bring teachers into the community the way it was in the 70s when I grew up. Generally, everyone was in the community, but vested in the community. And I was asking the school districts also to partner with the rental companies in the area who have apartments. Because some of the people I've worked with in Highland Park in North Chicago, they've gone back to Chicago to teach because they make more money. But the other question to me was, where can I find a place to stay? So as long as we have an established network put in place by design, that can make it easier for us to recruit teachers to come into our community. And we're not making the evening news like we did last month about a 50 teacher shortage in our community. So I'm just putting it out there, not putting all the tangible stuff out there now. Larry Wilkes, our assessor, he wasn't too happy to hear it, but in reality, we're probably going to have probably 4 or 5 teachers try to take it, advantage of that part of it in the beginning. Again, the teachers that come in the community aren't making that amount of money, really, to walk in here and buy a $100,000 home. So it's just part of a package that makes it easier for us to recruit teachers. That's all I'm looking at. Anybody have any questions?
I just have a question about the 4-year. Was that some sort of formula they put together for 4 years?
Well, most municipalities, when I was with DC government, they would match whatever I brought to the table, say 10,000. If I saved 10, DC government would give us an additional 10. Excuse me, Montgomery County, Maryland, Georges County, Maryland, they're in the metro area, they did at 5,000. And joining the municipalities did anywhere from 3 to 5 years. But the norm was 4 years, going up to Baltimore all the way down to Virginia Beach. Because when one started, then you saw that this swing. And, although we're between 2 metropolises, Chicago and Milwaukee, at the end of the day, we're short on teachers. I'm a building sub. I see it all the time. It's progressively gotten worse as the years gone by. But we're being at the lower end of the paying scale when it comes to economics. Okay, a teacher in the parking lot tell me today, hey, she came here just to get out of the contract with Waukegan, but Zion doesn't pay compared to Waukegan. At the end of the year, I'm leaving. So,
Is there a commitment to the years that the teachers would stay?
well, that would be it. So when you sign a teacher, say, to a 3-year contract, most administrators, principals sign a 2-year contract. So if you come in and you say, look, sign to a 4-year contract, part of the package, if you want to purchase a home while you're here, these are the incentives that we will give you to move into our community. So now they're invested in the community, and hopefully their children are going to school here. They're going to buy their groceries here, buy their gas for their cars. Everything is going to be right here in our community. And again, so no one runs to the floodgates and say, oh my, it's not like as if we're going to have 50 teachers rushing in here to take advantage of it all at once. And you look at the tax base where we are now. I've been doing property tax appeals for residents for the last 10 years. We still have a lot of houses that are empty. They're empty. And it's just one way for us to start shuffling things around, and it's just part of being inclusion. And this way, everyone has a spoon in the pie. Everyone has say-so. I just ask everyone, just keep it at the local level. That way we don't need to get the county involved. If we make up 80% of total, just give a round number, then whatever that 80% is, that's the 80% for Zion.
Has somebody created a resolution or ordinance that you're aware of yet on how this would move forward practically?
For this region, no. Another part of the country, yes.
No, but I'm talking about here.
Oh, no.
So this is just your first
I'm just
foray
pitching it out
into-
there. Because when I brought it out about 10 years ago, people ran off as if it were theirs, and they reinvent the wheel. So I just sat back and let them mess it all up. I've already been there, done that, lived through it.
Right.
And when all the spoons started getting in the pot, you started messing something up you knew nothing about.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it simple like peanut butter and jelly. Okay, you agree with the school district moving forward for new teachers coming into our area. We know they're going to be underpaid. So how can we entice quality teachers to move
Right.
into our community and say, hey, this is part of the NBA package we're going to put together. If you get so many slam dunks, so many balls hit out the ballpark, these are the incentives that we, as a community, have made a sacrifice collectively moving forward to say, this is a package with the school district.
So I guess my question is just the logistics of how you envision that happening. There has to be a vehicle for making that available to someone. It can't be you just don't pay that tax. There has to be a vehicle for.
Well,
For
but the
everybody to
District of
do
Columbia
that.
and the state of Maryland, basically, you had your form you filled out every year that you're in their residence, and you submit that to your taxing authority. Here's our local assessor. validating that you are
Okay.
a resident in this dwelling, you're part of this particular package.
Okay, so it'd go through the assessor's office. That was my
Yes,
question.
okay.
I got one question. Did you go to anybody else?
Yeah, I've been to elementary, I've been up to the high school. Beautiful, you should see it on TV by Saturday.
Okay.
With the township, I mean, Larry just took the ball, he ran with it. And everyone, it was laughable, and then I brought it up again at the city council meeting. You got to get off, you got to offer something.
Yeah.
And I run into all the parents in Walmart. Woo! Now imagine if the teachers were here like when I grew up, whether it was Mr. January, Mr. Hamlet, Mr. Trice, they all lived in the community. And we need to find some way to bring that quality back to our community. It's not going to be the silver bullet. Don't get me wrong. You know, if it's $4,000 off the books, times maybe 10 people take advantage of it in 2 years. Wow. That's a lot of money. Yeah, right. Looking at the quality that we need for these people to actually be here for our kids. Then the kids get to see them in the community. Like they see me every summer. They see me on the weekends. I'm at the basketball games and football games. And now you have fabric that's been lacking in here for quite a while. These teachers live here. They don't live in Pleasant Prairie, Racine, Arlington Heights, or Libertyville. They live here. So I'm just looking for each taxing body just to consider it.
Bill, you were on that committee with the taxing bodies. Weren't they doing something, incentives to get
They were trying.
people?
They were trying. I don't think it ever, I mean, I had to go in for surgery in the middle of it, so I know that they were pushing forward with exactly what you were talking about. Now, where they got to that point, I have no idea. Maybe you can expound on more, or do you know more where they went?
They wanted to go in so many different variances, directions, like I said. They didn't want to keep it simple. Just keep it simple.
I
Like
know.
peanut butter and jelly. There's no need to bring in all the other bells and whistles. And just keep it simple for right now. Because once you start and you lead with it, then everyone's going to try to call you individually at your home. Hey, what you doing? Can I talk to you? Got to get a copy of that. And that's really what's going to happen. I've seen it going almost 30 years back.
I mean, in the beginning, it sounded great. I mean, when this all started, everything sounded really good, and then I don't know whatever happened after that, so.
I do have a short little comment, is that I do know nationwide in certain areas, there through the HUD foreclosed home sections, or homes, that homes are available to teachers, police officers, and firefighters at 50% of the cost. So they get it for half. They have to work, live and work in that area for a certain period of time. Our town used to be in that zone. It's no longer in that zone. So if someone was able to get it back into that zone, you're talking half price for a home. So I'm a former police officer. I looked into the program. I was, very much interested into it. I now work for a school district, so I'm very much aware of the types of things that you're talking about and what it takes to recruit the right people. So that is something that would be in the back of my mind. I shouldn't say in the back of my mind, in the forefront of my mind, as something to look at, but also someone, somewhere, somehow to get the town back into that program where people can buy a HUD foreclosed home for half price. So it's just something else to throw out for people to consider. It's I know some people steer away from a foreclosed home, but I have a close family member that bought a foreclosed home in this program, and there was no renovation necessary. It was move-in ready. So if you could buy a $200,000 house for $100,000, that greatly offsets the taxes that you'd be paying when you're considering what the mortgage is. So if someone was able to get both they would be in a really good situation.
Okay.
Thank you so much for bringing that to our attention.
Just something for you to think of. And that's it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tracy.
Okay. Let's move on to approval of the agenda. Do we need any changes?
No.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to keep the agenda as stated.
I make a motion to approve the agenda for October 17, 2019 as stated.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. Any commissioner comments for this meeting? I have comment. I just want to thank the board, or the Park District, the opportunity to go to the national conference in Baltimore. It was a great experience. We were able to go to DC. Are you going to talk about that too?
I wasn't going to.
Brad Schneider, we went to his office in DC and they gave us a tour of the Capitol. It was a really great tour. So thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, I just want to, I guess I could piggyback a little bit on what Cheryl said. I had a very interesting trip. Very interesting. But it was a great learning experience. The classes, the different people I met from different walks of life, from Seattle to Orlando to, I guess that's where the next setting is for the next meeting. And it was really good to just talk to people and find out what other park districts are experiencing on a different spectrum, and the information and the knowledge. So it was really good to actually sit down and talk with the different legislative people in their offices. Congressman Brad Schneider was able to meet with us one-on-one, and so was the offices of Senator Durbin and, oh my goodness, Senator Durbin and Tammy Duckworth's office. And I was surprised to see one of my former colleagues, friends, working in the office there. So just finding out that they're doing the best they can and what they can to help us with the things that we need in our local communities in terms of supplies, products, legislature. There's a lot of bills on the floor that I hope we get some support with. And also, I was also happy to see my form in the mail for our survey. Really excited to see that. So,
I got that too.
yeah.
Any other comments? Okay. All right, so we will move on to anything from the attorney?
No.
Okay. Treasurer's report. I will entertain a motion for the unpaid bills, the unpaid and paid bills.
I make a motion that we approve the unpaid bills in the amount of $117,136.84. The total paid bills of $302,703.57 for a grand total of $419,840.41.
I second.
Any further discussion needed? Eric?
Commissioner Rivers,
Aye.
Commissioner Hartman,
Aye.
Commissioner Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Pye,
Aye.
President McGarrett.
Aye. Okay. Let's move on to the director's report.
Okay, the first thing that I have was the legal symposium is happening again in November. Kay and Eric and I are going to go. Bill has expressed an interest in going, so I will put that together. And it should be a good symposium this year.
Dates on that.
It's the
November 14th.
Forgive me.
Thank you.
November 14th.
November 14th.
Yeah, it's a Thursday.
So you can let me know if you have any interest in that. I did forget to put the IPRA conference information in your packet, but I did put it at your places tonight. So if you are interested in going to the state conference, if you could fill out the registration portion and leave that for me, that would be great. I'll make sure that you get registered. And if you have any questions about that, I haven't. That's all I have for that. And with our strategic planning, I just wanted to mention that we do have the survey out. So We are doing a statistically valid survey with ETC, which is a survey company out of Kansas. And so there are targeted homes within the community that are spread out within the community that will receive the survey from ETC. But we also have the survey available to anyone who would like to fill it out. That will actually go into a different bucket of information because we want to make sure that we do have the statistically valid survey, which is a random sampling. But we have paper copies available at all of our facilities, and it's also online. You can do an online survey for that. So we are hoping to really get some good information from a variety of people. I know that those who got the random sample, a few other people said, hey, how can I get one? So it's good that we have that available now. It's open to anyone. So if somebody's asking you about that, please tell them. They can contact us here. They can go on the Facebook page. There's a link on the Park District Facebook page to the survey.
Are you seeing them come back already?
Yes, Christine had a call into them to see where we were at. They're still collecting them, so I don't know what number we're at.
What's the deadline for turning them in, do you know?
They keep going until they get
Enough.
until they get enough. So it's not really a deadline. They do try and get it within a certain period of time, but so I don't have any exact numbers yet, but it's out there and we are getting responses. So that's a good thing.
Mailed mine.
Good news. So that's all I had about the strategic plan for this month.
Okay. All right, now on to new business. Aaron and Dan, welcome. We're going to talk about our ordinance 869.
Yeah, well, it's great to see everyone's involved with education. We're heavily involved with the legal symposium and the IAPD annual conference. We'll be doing presentations at those, so if you want to get one real early in the morning on Bonds 101, I'll be doing a presentation there, so
Okay, wake up
pretty
early
exciting
and
stuff.
yeah.
Some really exciting stuff. Either way, again, my name's Aaron Gold. This is Dan Forbes. We're municipal advisors from Spear Financial, and we come out every year to present the results of the sale of your rollover bonds. So we help to price your taxable general obligation limited tax part bonds series 2019 yesterday, and we priced the issue at 2.494%. A little bit about this issue in general. We anticipate closing on the issue in 2 weeks on October 30th. It's a 2-year issue, so the final payment will be on December 15th of 2021. And then these are general obligation limited tax part bonds. So general obligation, it's paid from a direct property tax, but they're limited or constrained as to how much property taxes you can actually levy each year to pay the principal and interest due on these bonds. And that limit is referred to as the debt service extension base. So what we've done with these bonds is we size them to fill up your levying capacity for that bond and interest property tax levy. This issue effectively fills your 19 levying capacity, and it spills over and utilizes a portion of your 20 levying capacity. Proceeds of the issue will go towards paying the cost of issuance and will provide the district with $300,000 in capital to support your capital program. The rate of 2.494%, we work with a lot of park districts and we sell a lot of these bonds right now. So we came up with that based off of 2 sales we had early this week and late last week. So we were using comparable rates. Last year we priced the same issue at 2.84%. So actually the interest rate environment has come down more since then because we're in a very low interest rate environment right now. But I think it's more important to point to how things have priced recently with similar comparable entities. So that's how we arrived at the 2.494% rate. One feature about this is that this is a self-purchase issue. So the district has done this in the past. Essentially, you're issuing bonds to fill this levying capacity, and in doing so, you're actually buying those bonds with your IMRF fund. So you've got the interest expense, which you need to spend your property tax levy on, principal and interest expense, going out, and then that expense goes straight into your IMRF fund, which has then become interest revenue. So you're essentially taking the proceeds of your property tax levy, and that interest expense component then resides in your IMRF fund as revenue. So it's a very effective model for capturing this bond and interest property tax levy, and it's a very good cycle for you to be on. I know Dave Phillips, my predecessor, has done a really good job. You guys have really whittled away at your debt position and got you on a very efficient annual rollover bond model. So we therefore recommend that the bonds be awarded to Zion Park District's IMRF fund at a price of $309,350 at a net interest rate of 2.494%. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to help.
Any questions from any of the commissioners? Anything else?
That's it for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Thanks for your good job.
Good to see you all.
Nice
Good to
seeing
see you too. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, we'll see you at the Toledo Symposium.
Yeah, we'll see you at the Little Symposium.
And
See you at the conference.
as you go through with your strategic planning, please keep us in the loop. We'd love to be a part of the future planning process.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, we will definitely.
Definitely, yeah,
'cause
definitely.
we're getting a little bit further into it now, so.
And prioritize it.
And it's a good time. Things have rolled off and you're
Right.
freeing up space, so
Yeah.
it's all positives for the district.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
All right. Thank you guys.
Pleasure.
Have a
So
good
they're
evening.
closing down.
Okay, perfect.
We'll
Almost
sign them
forgot
all.
those.
No, no, we
Seeing
need
you,
those.
Okay. I'm going to entertain a motion for ordinance number 869, providing for the issue of 309,350 taxable general obligation limited tax park bonds, Series 2019 of the Zion Park District, Lake County, Illinois, for the payment of land condemned or purchase for parks for the building, maintaining, improving, and protecting of the same and existing land and facilities of said park district, providing for the levy of a direct annual tax to pay the principal and interest on said bonds, and authorizing the sale of said bonds to the Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund of said park district.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Eric?
Commissioner Hartman,
Aye.
Commissioner Rivers, Commissioner Pye,
Aye.
Commissioner Brown,
Aye.
President McGarrett.
Aye. Okay, the review and approval is scheduled for the FY 2021 budget sessions.
It's coming up.
What?
I can't teach you. Listen.
Yes, it
Do you have
is.
issues?
So it's time already?
Oh,
Yeah. That's what the staff say too.
Right.
I kind of thought that too. I'm like, it's already that time again?
Well, we can plan for it. So I did
Yes.
schedule these at the same times that we did last year. So it was the, the 2 weeks, no, the week before the March board meeting, for the initial session, and then prior to the March board meeting for the second session, and then the full review and approval at the April Board of Commissioners meeting in 2020. 5:30 p.m. seemed to work last time for everybody, so.
That's still good.
No work conflict.
Good.
Yay.
We like that.
That is good. So,
these-
I just wanted to get this out if.
Are these acceptable to everyone? Okay, you think they'll work?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve the schedule for the FY 2020 and 2021 budget session as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion needed? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. All right. Approval of the 2020 health, employee health insurance programs with Paderma.
So I was really happy with this one page that Eric put together from our work on getting the employee health insurance program together. As you see, a 1.23% increase overall. from last year to this year, which is really good. You know, Paderma has a really good program for us of keeping those rates as stable as possible. And so this is basically the same coverage as what we offered to the employees last year. And the only thing that really changed is that they are offering a fourth option so that an employee can cover themselves and their children without their spouse. So if their spouse has coverage on their own, they won't have to take family coverage. It's a step down from family coverage if you're not covering both spouses and the children, and a little bit different than if it's just the employee and one child. So if you have several children, so they made a step in the middle that really makes a lot of sense for families, especially if your spouse's insurance is very expensive for your family. So that I thought was a great move on Paderma's part to offer to employees, and it's just part of the package. So is there any questions?
Is it a 1 year contract or 2 year?
They're all 1 year. We do 1 year. And I mean, we do 1 year at a time with the rate structure. So this would be, it's always one.
And you said that you mentioned that it had been low for a long time, right?
Yeah. Last year it was minimal increases. We just have had minimal increases compared to the market of, going out and getting health insurance. This is a good package, and Paderma keeps us, does a good job on it.
Yeah, they do a nice job of, listening to what the districts have to say and the feedback as far as, trying to create an additional tier, and then also offering additional coverages. For example, with an HRA was something that we switched to 2 years ago. So they're constantly trying to be aware of how health insurance premiums are rising by double digits and trying to be creative with their offerings. So, at the district, we also try to be cognizant of how much we're spending on employee health insurance, and while still offering employees a good benefit, but trying to keep that cost increase, at a reasonable level, considering what the market's doing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve that document.
I entertain a motion to approve the 2020 Employee Health Insurance Program with Paderma.
I'll second it.
Okay, any further discussion before we vote? Eric?
Commissioner Pye,
Aye.
Commissioner Rivers,
Aye.
Commissioner Hartman,
Aye.
Commissioner Brown,
Aye.
President McGarrah.
Aye. Okay, we are moving on to the surplus property of the holiday outdoor decorations. We don't have anything in our packet. Marilyn was just going to talk about
It's
it.
just in my report.
Yeah.
So similar to what we've done in the past, I wanted to get permission to move out some excess property. The district bought holiday outdoor decoration display irons many years ago when we did Kringle's Kingdom, and we used to do the whole span of the service drive in Shiloh Park. And due to vandalism and the lack of the available manpower that we have in the off-season anymore, we really can't do that display like we used to. And someone approached me about purchasing some of those irons. So I wanted to make sure that you guys were aware that, we have an opportunity to maybe take out of our possession some of those that we're not using. So Todd's staff will be doing an inventory of what we have and what we've been using, or what we might want to think about using, and not get rid of anything that would be beneficial. But if we have excess, if there's people that are interested, they could purchase them. So it would just be declaring them surplus property, and then we can move them on.
Will you offer it to, how will you offer them? Just to the people that are interested, or? that
Well,
how
at this
it'll work?
point, but we could
Yeah.
put it out there, we bought them from another park district, actually in Peoria, a long time ago. I think I might not even have been here yet then. It may have been Chuck Baxton who bought them. It was either,
So they've been well used.
I think it was either Chuck or Al. So we could make them available into a broader spectrum. Right now, it was just someone who requested them. Just wanted to make sure that you guys were okay with that.
I don't have a problem with excess stuff getting rid of and having someone else use it. I could benefit from it.
Free up storage.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have
Free up
storage.
storage is always a plus. Well, and plus go through them. I mean, it's a good time for us to inventory and really look at what we're going to use or what we think we might use, and just go from there.
So we need a motion.
Yeah, I'll entertain a motion to declare the surplus property, how Todd and Marilyn decide on the holiday outdoor decoration display irons.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion needed? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. Okay. Contract for replacement of front sidewalk at Shepards Crook.
Okay, we did put some.
Yeah, that should be what was on the table today.
Yes, it was on
That
the
was not in
table. It
your
was not in your
packets.
packet. I was waiting to get the quotes all together. So we got 3 quotes to replace the sidewalk at the front of Shepherd's Crook. One of the things when we did our facility assessment there was we recognized that front step up to the sidewalk from the parking lot is higher than it should be. And so that was one of the considerations that we had. Also, the facing on the front of the sidewalk is all beat up and broken down and really needs to be replaced. So we had put some capital dollars in the Shepherd's Crook budget this year for outdoor projects. So this was one of them. We got 3 bids to do this. So RAS Concrete came in at $87.50 for replacing the sidewalk. The other item that we did include when we went back to look at if we had everything in that quote was the handicap ramp that goes up to the porch has some sinking. And so we need to replace that also. So we've added that on there, and that made their bid go up to $11,200, which
RES Concrete.
RAS Concrete, yeah, $11,200, which still is under what either one of the other bidders had just for the sidewalk. So it makes sense, I think, that we take these quotes and award this to RAS Concrete. Now that we are at this point in the year, we probably won't do this project until the spring. We'll try and get it like as the first project that they're doing concrete when it's nice enough, so that we can get it done before our major season starts out there. The weather is going to be, when they get concrete going in plants, and but we will be first on their list.
It should be before this budget year is over with.
Yeah.
I was out there this weekend. Actually, I have a knee injury right now, and I told you it was before I had a meeting, and I told Marilyn when she told me that, I'm like, oh my gosh, it was high. It hurt my knee when I had to come up on it, and then I did see where the handicapped area had sunken in, and they have a makeshift mat
Yeah.
to help with that gap, but there still is a gap with that makeshift mat. So I think that is really important to get that taken care of.
Yeah. So that's our recommendation, is to work with RAS to do both of those for $11,200.
Have you worked with them before?
They're new.
No.
They were on the Better Business Bureau as an A+.
Okay.
business contractor.
Anybody got anything before I entertain a motion? Okay, I'll entertain a motion for the sidewalk replacement.
I make a motion that we approve the Shepards Crook Clubhouse sidewalk replacement and award it to RAS Construction, or Concrete, in the amount of $11,200.
I second that.
Any further discussion needed? Okay, Eric?
Commissioner Rivers,
Aye.
Commissioner Hartman,
Aye.
Commissioner Pye,
Aye.
Commissioner Brown,
Aye.
President McGarrow.
Aye. Okay, contract for the roof repair, which we don't have anything on, correct?
No, I didn't have this
Okay.
contract, but, so we have found some roof leaks out at Shepards Crook. I was out there one day and it was leaking through one of the vents like this out down onto one of the round tables in the middle,
Clubhouse area?
yeah, the banquet tables, yes, thank you. And I was like, oh, that's not good. And so we have had some issues out there over the past couple of years, so we knew that that there were some leaks. We saw some, when Terry Staples was up there, he saw some issues with the shingles. So what we're doing for this year is we're repairing half of the roof where the leaks are happening, and we think we can get some more time out of the back half. So we're just going to do the front half of the roof to repair those areas where we are actually having water coming through. And so this quote was $20,290 to replace that part of the roof where the leaks are happening. And so we'd like to move forward on that. Again, we had some capital dollars that we put in for outdoor maintenance at Shepards Crook, and so it is a budgeted item, so.
Okay. Any questions?
Do you have a company or
Oh, it's Waukegan Roofing,
Waukegan Roofing?
yeah.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the contract for roof repair for leaking roof at Shepards Crook in the amount of $20,290 to Waukegan Roofing.
So moved.
I second that.
Any further discussion or vote? Eric?
Commissioner Hartman,
Aye.
Commissioner Rivers,
Aye.
Commissioner Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Pye,
Aye.
President McGarrow.
Aye. Okay, now we're going to talk about the estimated 2020 to 2021 levy, which you left for us on the,
Yes, that was left on the table also. It wasn't in your packet. Did you get it, Karen?
it would have been under here, I think, underneath there.
Looks like this.
Oh.
Okay, so Eric put together this annual change for the EAV, their tax rate and the tax extension, or our extension over the past, I don't know how many years to put on here, quite a few.
12 or so.
12, yeah. So that's the first sheet that is just so you have some comparison to where we have been and where this sits us. So we got the preliminary EAV from the county, and there's a new staff member there. So we're working with someone new at the county, and he said that all of the assessors were, the Zion assessor was done and his numbers were in, so we think that this is probably a fairly accurate EAV for us. And so we went through this, and like Eric was telling you in our finance meeting, we had to make some adjustments here this year because we needed to increase the levy for IMRF this year. And we wanted to increase the police levy this year so that Chad could continue to make the improvements that he has made in the police department. So when we do that, obviously if one goes up, we sometimes have to go down in another area. So general and recreation do have a reduced amount as the change from prior year. When we put this all together with the PTEL, the Property Tax Extension Limitation Act, which is the tax cap, which gives us only a certain amount that we can go up every year, and with the Consumer Price Index, which is also one of the factors that we put into here because that the increase can't be above that Consumer Price Index also for this year. It actually makes a change in extension for us. The change in EAV is about 7.12%, so it's increasing from last year, about 7%. So that gives us a change in extension of $113,942. That makes the change in the levy $76,375, and it changes our rate. It actually is a negative number for our rate of minus 3.44%. So our tax rate actually goes down based upon the growth and how we're levying. Okay.
Mhm.
And so this is where we came up with. So we are under the 5% tax cap, and we feel pretty good about how this this all worked out for us this year. You know, this is always a guess because the EAV can
Fluctuate.
it can change a little bit. Right now, it's really, a pretty new number. They just got them done. So this is a lot of information. I tried to break it down for you. I don't know, do you have anything that I missed?
No, in the purple numbers, you can see the change in extension dollars from the prior year. Even though you don't have the prior year numbers in front of you, you can see the effect, for example, on the general fund and recreation fund actually losing tax extension dollars.
Because of us changing that rate.
Correct, because we have to operate within the limitations of the PTEL, as Marilyn mentioned. So the total of the funds in that top section have to be below 2.7 million. So then the challenge is to diversify or kind of split up between all the different buckets as to how we're going to allocate that 2.7 million with the consideration of budgets and which funds pay which expenses. So like we talked about earlier, because, for example, our IMRF employer rate is going up, right, we need to levy more dollars in the IMRF fund. And because, again, we feel like we're getting more value out of the police department, we're going to levy more value in our police fund, which means those dollars then have to come out of another fund, right? So that's why recreation in general are actually going down with some of the others going up. But I do think, like Marilyn said, the two positives definitely are the fact that the change in the EAV for the city is up 7%, so effectively values within the city of Zion are up 7.12%, and our tax rate is actually going down. So that's good.
And generally, we stay at about 6%, like Tracy said, about 6% of the tax bill overall in Zion. And the levy doesn't generally change a whole lot. We fluctuate a little bit there, but I would say sometimes we're below 6%, sometimes we're above. It depends on the other taxing bodies also. So, and how they do their levies. But we'll probably remain, and we have been remaining for quite a while, right around 6% of the tax bill.
Yeah, we have, like Marilyn said, typically around 5.5%, 6% of the tax bill, so we get 6 cents on every tax dollar.
So this is the estimated levy, so we'll have a month to think about this, look this over, and then we will come back at our November meeting with our final levy where we will do the levy ordinance, and that will be filed with the county If we don't do that by the second or the last Tuesday in December, we get nothing. So
Yeah.
this is why we thought we would start this process in October. We have November to do our final levy. That gives Eric more time to get it filed with the county instead of waiting until December meeting when then there's holidays and it's a lot more, everybody's scrambling at the end there. Last year he was in a line around the county building.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we don't want to do that again.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we won't really have any additional information between even now and the end of the year anyways, because the final EAV doesn't come out until after the levy is always filed, which is always the challenging part. So we hope that this number that we're using to prepare the levy is accurate. I talked to David Nabel at the city today, the city administrator at the city of Zion, and we always just talk about, what he's heard and if he's aware of anything that could, make this number fluctuate and things like that. So I don't think we'll get a different EAV number from now until the end of the year.
No.
We may adjust dollars somewhat between some of the levies, but probably not significantly. So
This is pretty close, so,
Yeah.
look it over, think about it. Yeah, but we do need a motion to approve the estimate.
Okay, so I do have a question, and I don't know exactly know if I'm gonna say this correctly. Because I'm always a little confused on this. So when it comes to the decrease, the
rate.
the rate, wasn't there an issue if a rate went down if we put a rate down too far, we couldn't make that up?
Yeah, you
Do
can
you know what
never
I'm saying?
make
that was actually the dollar amount of the extension.
Okay,
So if the dollar amount of the extension goes down, that's where people start to feel like you've lost dollars that you can capture in the future.
okay,
So the rate going down is just a good thing
okay, for the
For the-
community.
for the community,
Okay.
correct.
Okay,
It's our actual property tax extension,
all right.
yeah.
I'm
Okay.
confused on something. Why do we got for this tonight? Because we coming back
Right, but
in
it's
a
the,
month due for again on this.
that's how the legislation though for the tax levy works, is you have to do an estimated levy and then come back in a month with the final levy.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to follow that legislative process, otherwise you're out of compliance, which we don't want to be.
No.
It's just part of the process. It's just like, using a guesstimate number to do this whole process, and we'll find out what this actual number is in March, maybe. And that'll be around the time when we're doing budgets, and we're
Yeah.
hoping that we're budgeting on a correct number, but we'll know for sure kind of as we go through that process also. But that is the way the process works,
And we're done.
and that's
Any other questions?
that's the state.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to approve the estimated 2020 to 2021 levy as stated.
So moved.
I'm second.
Any further discussion? Eric?
Commissioner Hartman,
Aye.
Commissioner Rivers, Commissioner Pye,
Aye.
Commissioner Brown,
Aye.
President McGarrett.
Aye. Okay, we are moving on to the IAPD credential certification, IAPD. Okay. So this is credentials for the meeting, for the representative, for the board,
Delegate,
for the
right.
delegate for the meeting. And I'm gonna go ahead and say, I think that Marilyn should be our delegate, because she's always there. And I'm gonna offer myself as first delegate, because I'm always there with her.
I did too.
The second?
Yeah.
Okay, and then do we have a third alternate? Rick or Bill or Carolyn? Who-
No, I'm not even gonna put my name down, because I'm not even sure if I'm gonna be around because of that.
Carolyn, are you going to the meeting?
State conference.
State
Yeah,
conference?
yeah.
So you can, okay. So you'll be the delegate.
Early in the morning.
I'll be the first, Jesse the second, and Carolyn the third.
Yeah, actually, the meeting is at 3:30, so it's not first thing in the morning.
So
that's So that's a good thing, it's 3:30 in the afternoon.
Oh my God. I think I lost 5 pounds in DC.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, Jack by me up even more.
Oh.
Okay,
All
so
right.
you need to
Yep.
just make a motion on that.
Yeah, I'm going to entertain a motion to approve the Illinois Association of Park Districts Credentials Certification. Maryland is a delegate.
Delegate.
Cheryl, me as the first alternate, Jesse is second, and Carolyn as the third.
I second that.
So moved.
And Jesse seconds it. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carried. All right. Approval of Resolution 868 for the transfer of funds from rec
From rec
and general.
Yeah. So Eric talked about this in the finance meeting also, that we have budgeted for recreation and general fund to each put $100,000 into the construction fund for the capital improvements that we're making. So at this point in time, we're gonna do half of that from each fund, 50,000 from rec and 50,000 from general, to cover some costs that we have already expended in the construction fund. And we will do the other half at the point when we need to make that construction fund whole again.
Okay, any questions? Okay. I'll entertain a motion for Resolution 868.
Make a motion that we approve Resolution 868, a resolution authorizing the transfer of funds of the Zion Park District from the Recreation Fund to the Construction Fund in the amount of $50,000 and from the General Fund to the Construction Fund in the amount of $50,000.
I second that.
Any further discussion needed? Eric?
Commissioner Rivers,
Aye.
Commissioner Hartman,
Aye.
Commissioner Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Pye,
Aye.
President McGarrett.
Aye. Okay, and now we need to go into executive session tonight, so I will entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second that.
Okay, any discussion before we do that? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Hey, Emily. Why don't you give me